Hi everyone, and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Indian cricket is in a mess right now. After having started the tour of Australia so positively with a victory at Perth, India is now in all sorts of problems, and it all stems from non-performing players in the team. The situation has become so bad that Indian skipper Rohit Sharma had to drop himself from the team because of his inability to score runs. Was it right for Team India to go without their captain Rohit Sharma into the final and the most important test match of the series? Never before in the history of Indian cricket has such a thing happened, where the standing keeper skipper has been forced to sit out a test match just because his form wasn't there. Rohit hasn't been in the best of touches for quite some time now, especially in the last two series against New Zealand and in this current series against Australia. He has been very poor, it's true. But is he the only non performing player in the Indian squad? What about Virat Kohli? Why is nobody addressing the elephant in the room? If Rohit has to sit out of the test match, then why not Virat? He has not been scoring runs for nearly 5 years now. And even in today's match, he got out for a paltry total of 17. When this team was in trouble, instead of bailing the team out, once again he got himself out and left the team in trouble. All the dismissals this series have been to balls way outside the off stump. Despite having survived a chance early in his innings to Steve Smith, once again Virat Kohli couldn't make much of the opportunity and perished to his usual shot outside the off stump. Why is nobody talking about dropping him from the squad? Pujara got dropped, Rahane got dropped, now Rohit also got dropped. When is Kohli going to get dropped? That's the most important question. He no longer plays domestic cricket. He no longer stays in India. He stays in London. And when it comes to international matches, he just walks into the stadiums and decides to bat. No matter how great a player you are, if you aren't putting your time in domestic cricket, you are bound to fail. And that's what has happened to Virat Kohli. Technical flaws in such a great batsman is very rare. Of all his contemporaries, like Joe Root, Steve Smith, they have excelled after passing 35 years of age. And Kohli has been on the decline. It's not as if he's not physically fit, he is. But it's his technical problems. Problems that exist beyond the cricket field. And there are rumors that are going like wildfire that he wants to become the captain of the Indian side once again. Now, whether that is true or not, that's a different thing altogether. But there are definite problems within that team. It has been split into two halves, it seems. Despite Rohit not performing in two series, he should have played this match. Who is his replacement? Shubman Gill. How many runs has Gill scored in overseas conditions in the last couple of years? Since his 91 in the last Australian tour at the Gabba, Gill hasn't scored 100 in these conditions overseas. And once again, today, he played an obnoxious shot to get out. After surviving the initial phase, after getting a good start of 20 runs, and of the last ball before lunch, he decides to step out to Nathan Lyon and gets caught in the slips. Who is to blame for this irresponsible shot? If you are playing in place of the skipper, you need to show a bit more responsibility than this. Reports are now emerging that Gautam Gambhir, the head coach for Team India, had wanted Cheteshwar Pujara for the series against Australia, but the selectors denied him. For what? The selectors denied Pujara in favor of Gill, a man who is averaging 30. Pujara would have spent the time in the middle and would have allowed the later batters the platform where they could have scored runs. He had been instrumental for India's success in the last two tours to Australia. People forget how valuable a player Pujara had been to that squad. And now we are seeing, because the new crop of players certainly do not have the patience to defend, they are only playing loose shots outside the off stump and throwing their wickets away. Even Rishabh Pant, who has been responsible for some very ordinary cricket, despite spending so much time out in the middle today, once again he plays a false shot to get out, doing all the hard yards, very much similar to his dismissal in the earlier test, where he had placed 100 balls for 30 odd runs. Today he faced 98 balls for 40. And just about when India was slowly recovering, he decides to play a shot that was non-existent. He decides to pull Scott Boland off length and gets caught in the leg side of Pat Cummins. India were all out for 185 and are staring down the barrel once again. For the first time in the series, India looked lost. And despite the overcast conditions, Jasprit Bumrah decided to bowl first, which is again a very odd decision. And look at the pitch. This SCG pitch is unlike most of the pitches that is provided to the foreign players in Sydney. It has plenty of bounce. It has plenty of bounce. It is a fresh pitch. It had plenty to offer for the bowlers. And if India had bowled first on this wicket, it would have been difficult for the Australians as well. But unfortunately, India decided to bat first. They dug their own grave. And Scott Boland bowled beautifully. The Indian top order and the middle order failed once again. Nobody could score any kind of runs. Instead of the Australians getting them out, some of the players got themselves out. I don't really understand why Jaiswal, despite being such a good young player, keeps running onto the bowlers. Nitish Kumar Reddy, same thing. He ran at Scott Boland and then tried to avoid the ball and got caught at second slip. Look at the Jaiswal's dismissal. He ran at Scott Boland. It caught the edge and he was caught at second slip. You have just come into bat. Give the bowler the respect he deserves and then dominate. It's these little instances, these little mistakes that are costing the Indian team very badly. And once again, it's a test match that they need to win. It's a must-win test match for India, and we are bowled out for 185 on the first day. Yes, Bumrah got the wicket of Khwaja at the end of the play. It's a very important wicket, yes. But still, we are very much behind in the game. Showers are predicted throughout the 5 days. So the chances of a result is pretty less, and India have got themselves to blame. Instead of putting runs on the board, they have put forward a very mediocre performance with the bat. Now it's up to Bumrah and the Indian bowlers to rally around him and produce a result on this pitch. It will be difficult because Australia have a very good record in Sydney. All their top batters like Smith and Labuschagne, they average plenty here in Sydney. But India would have the positives by thinking that this pitch is not a normal Sydney wicket. It has plenty to offer for the bowlers. And India needs to get rid of that little prick, Sam Constas, who is running riot in the middle right now. A little bit too much of youthful exuberance. He's playing it as if he's too innocent, but he's not. He is that wild kid who needs to be punished by the headmaster of the school for being unruly. His wild behavior is being appreciated by the Australian crowd. They're saying that he has rattled the Indian team and so on. But it's not, he has not rattled anyone. It's this wild, unruly behavior that needs to be punished at the right age so that he doesn't do it in the future as well. He keeps on running at Bumrah trying to hit him for a boundary. That kind of shots will fail 99% of times. If he plays like that, he won't have a very long career. It would be a very short one. And India needs to have patience. On this wicket, Prashid Krishna would be the ideal bowler because of his height. He needs to bowl well. If we are to have any chance in this game, the bowlers need to rally behind Jasprit Bumrah, who has been the lone warrior in this entire series. The man has picked up 31 wickets at 12.65, and still India losing the Test series. It just shows the kind of batting that India have done throughout the series, despite their talisman bowler leading them from the front, who has picked up 3 5-wicket hauls in the 5 Test matches. India is still trailing the series 2-1, and after the first day, it looks like that they might end up losing 3-1. If they are not careful, if they do not bowl well tomorrow, it might well end up to be an Australian day. India need to rally behind Jasprit Bumrah. They need to find their long lost courage, their long lost bravado, and fight like a wounded animal and get back into the game. The World Test Championship finals are on the line. You have to play like you want to be in that final, not outside it. Let me know in the comments section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.